Hi everyone, Allison Wesley here. Here are some moments from classes this week where we focused on unfurling like the ferns opening in the spring. And tune into the organ. So we're not sensing the band itself so much, we're not sensing outside. Let yourself really come in and feel ascending colon. And then just explore some spinal movements. So maybe you come into some extension and flexion of the spine and just feel how the band would move. There's this kind of bunching up, and then there's this stretching out as you extend head and tail back, head and tail forward, unfurling, like lengthening through each and every pouch. And we can also feel in some side stretches. So for this, you can take that bottom hand away and soft bend to the knees. Just give a little lateral flexion to each side. And notice as you go to this side, it gets a bit bunchy, right? Furl and unfurl as you go to the opposite side. There would be a little bit of a stretch. So we're feeling this, but we're also helping the function of the colon, which is to move these contents through, move what we don't need, hang on to what we do. Now let's kind of make this model. You might even say to yourself, okay, the band represents my now descending colon that goes down the left side, the spleen area down into the left pelvic half. And let's explore some spinal movements. You can bend your knees a bit and flex and extend. So head and tail forward as you flex, just a little kind of bunching up, and then an unfurling as you extend. And imagine that the movement is being compelled by the colon. So almost like this is no longer spinal flexion and extension. This is now a furling and an unfurling of your descending colon. Again, hold wherever it's most comfortable there. Bend a little bit side to side. Just notice, when would you feel more length? When would you feel more of that deepening, loving squish? Or unfurling and furling. For fish, with your palms facing down, you can shift a little side to side and start to walk the arms and hands underneath your back. Still palms would be down. For some people, the thumbs will touch right underneath. And you might be now sort of sitting on the back of your forearms or the back of your hands, depending on how long your arms are. Now, once you have that position, you can let your legs straighten, and let's come back to that feel of like a fish tail or a mermaid tail. You can bring your legs completely together, point your toes. And then from here, like there's a little lift, like your favorite person's hand right underneath the back of your heart space. Allow the heart to lift up. It's going to bring a bend to the elbows and slide you up into fish. So you'll be on the back of the head, just very gently opening through the sides of the chest, opening through the clavicle bones. And if you have found a version of fish, stay there a few breaths. If you have difficulty lifting up, oftentimes the issue can be kind of a confusion in the arms. So you might play with the feel of bending the elbows. It might be that same feel of like you're going to drag your elbows toward the back of your head. Or you might think about really widening through the chest. Again, if this doesn't feel quite right, come back to bridge. See where you can feel that color in the water. Let your breath in really fill into all the spaces. And when you're ready, You can gently slide your way back down, back of the head. Bring a bend to one or both knees. You can undo the position of your arms. Let that go for a moment. So if you do have a slidey thing or you have a sock on, you can place that on the foot that's going to be on the ground. Again, you could do this with nothing. You just won't slide as much. Okay, but make sure that whatever your prop is, you feel stable. You are able to stand on it without just sliding away from you. Okay. We're going to take the opposite leg up and out onto the chair. We're going to take the hand to the inner knee and the other hand to the standing hip bone. So we can imagine here like we're opening a bit of space, almost like you're stretching a rubber band between the two. And then if it's possible to swivel, you can swivel your whole standing leg and hip in. So then it's like hip bone toward knee and then hip bone away from knee. Okay. You don't have something to slide on, you just won't be moving as much, but you will be able to do this. So this is kind of piece one, is getting this opening and closing. So toward and away. If you'd like to add on, as you find that opening position, my standing foot is just slightly turned out. We're going to bend through the standing knee. And the idea is both knees are going outward. So this should feel like a nice stretch across pelvic floor, across inner thigh. Then you'd come back up and swivel in. Do this 4 some more times. So up to you. You can just swivel or swivel out, bend like you're opening the rubber band, stretch, and swivel. Nice, easy breaths. This should be helping the whole circumference of the hip muscles. As you stretch and lower, we have this connection inner thigh muscles through pelvic floor. So that's where we're creating a stretch. Let's do one more, whatever version you are using. And when you swivel in, go ahead and take a hold of that leg. You can lower down, notice. Ooh, very nice. We'll switch sides. So again, if you do have something to slide on, stand on that with the foot that's on the floor. And then if we are swiveling, it's not just the foot, it would be the whole thigh moving. Your other leg can come up, foot to the chair. It's a little bit like that tree thing we did before. And already we're making sure we're not just jutting out with the hip. We can have a little geyser feel there. Now, hand to knee, hand to hip bone. Let's start with the swivel. So let your hip bone and your foot, if you're able to swivel, turn in and then turn out. And pull your hands apart. And then hip toward knee and hip away from knee. Do that once more, and you're welcome to stay with this. Or as you swivel out, you can add the bend of the knees. So it's kind of like a squat. Center of the pelvic floor isn't going back or forward. It's just going down as we stretch. And we can come back up and swivel. So it's hip toward knee, hip away from knee. Maybe you add the bend, stretching up, swivel. Yeah, and I'm using my hand on that knee to make sure that the knee isn't also moving. So for example, if my whole body turns, that's very different than just my hip turning toward my knee. Yeah. Exactly. There you go. Bend if you are adding the squat, coming back up, swivel. I'm going to take 1 or 2 more rounds. It's really common to find one side that feels unique. You might just notice if this side feels easier, more difficult, right? As you turn toward that standing knee this time, you can use the help of your hands to come down, shake it out. Okay, so you step at a diagonal and then pull the bow and arrow back and then let it spring you back up. And then you step to the opposite diagonal, pull, let it spring you back up. So you're sliding your hand across, let it spring you back up. Dun, 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 dun. Let's do it a couple more times. Giving this kind of spring, this shoot of the arrow. That's the only new move we have today. Everything else should be like, yep, done this before. If you want more practices like this, full classes, I've got 10-minute classes, 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, hour-long, thousands of classes. Join my membership. It's monthly. You join with wonderful community and practice whenever, and even get to come to classes in real time if you'd like.